What is up, guys, and welcome back to Rags to Riches 3, the series where we go from one of the worst teams in F1 2009, work our way up through the Codemasters games, and try and get a drive for one of the best teams in F1 2017. We're currently in the 2010 game. This is Season 2, Round 2, and if you have missed any of the previous episodes, including Round 1 of the F1 2010 season, then definitely go check that out. There will be a card annotation to that episode in the top right-hand corner of your screens, and also a card annotation to the whole entire series in the top right hand corner as well. But looking at the standings after the first round of this series, and we're currently sitting nice and comfortably in P6, you would assume there, but actually it's not, because the team that we drive for in F1 2011 is determined by the position that we get in F1 2010. So first and second, that will be a drive for Force India next season. Third to fourth will be a drive for Williams next season. But if we finish where we are at the moment, which is between 5th and 10th, so 6th place, we get a drive for Lotus in F1 2011, one of the 3 backmarker teams, which is not what we want. And of course, if we do slip down lower than that, then 11th to 16th place is a virgin seat for 2011, and 17th to 24th is going to be a HRT seat. But that, of course, is the rules for this series. We are up next at the Australian Grand Prix, so let's see how this one goes. Here we go then, one shot qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix as we've got a driver going slowly ahead of us. Thank you, Lucas de Grassi, for that. Let's put the front aero, that's fine like that. And let's get this lap underway. Hopefully, we can break at least into the top 15 in this qualifying session. I mean, that is what I'm aiming for here today. We just have to wait and see whether we can do that or not. Okay, then 2 more corners left to go on the brakes. Feed it round the penultimate corner. Then 1 more corner left to go. Keep the throttle down. Don't run it out wide. And down towards the line. What is the lap time going to be good enough for? It's not going to be good enough for pole position, but it does get a 1:30. And it's only P18. Okay, I got excited for absolutely no reason at all. Oh, that's not a good lap. That is not a good lap at the Australian Grand Prix. I don't know whether it was because of the 2 drivers that we had to get past at that point, or whether we were actually slowed down on the start-finish straight by Lucas de Grassi. Yeah, I'm not really too sure what happened there. Unfortunately, it was a slow lap. We do have a bit of time to find over the rest of this weekend. But hopefully we can do so. And hopefully we can be up there with my teammate of Kamui Kobayashi, who, of course, qualified in P12 here today. Mark Webber is on pole position with Lewis Hamilton 2nd. And Sebastian Vettel 3rd with Jenson Button there in 4th. Very close between the top 5 in the standings. Fernando Alonso being the final one of those drivers. So very close between those top 5 drivers. But in terms of my own qualifying session, there is a lot of time to find, and hopefully we can find it in the race. But the question is, what can we do from 18th position on the grid? Let's find out as we head over to the race for the Australian Grand Prix. It's race day here at the Australian Grand Prix, with Mark Webber lining up in pole position for today's race. Lewis Hamilton in 2nd. There's my teammate Kamui Kobayashi, qualified in P12. And myself, unfortunately, only ahead of the backmarker teams. 18th position in qualifying. Not a good qualifying session for myself, but hopefully we can make it up in today's race. The lights are coming on. We got a 5 red lights, and it is lights out. And away we go, and still can't put it up into fast mix for today's race. We're going to take it nice and cautiously down in towards turn 1. Maybe have a look at the inside of these guys, which we have done so. Oh, very close there with Vitaly Petrov. But we have moved up now into P17. And I've got HRT having a little look there on the right-hand side. I'm just going to try my best not to let him through as I brake very, very late down in towards turn 3. And there we go. Job done. Holding on to P17. Up next is Sebastian Buemi and then Jaime Alguersuari. So hopefully we can get past those drivers in the next couple of laps. Might even dive up the inside in towards this right-hander, which I do there. Much better on the brakes than Sebastian Buemi. And there we go, moving up into P16 now. And again, later on the brakes, and these guys have run it wide, though. Too late on the brakes compared to Jaime Alguersuari. That puts me now just ahead of Sebastian Buemi. He nearly had a chance to get the overtake done on me. But how can we do through this very quick left then right. Of course, we can gain a lot of time through this section of corners if we're quicker than the AI. Looks like we are, as we're now going to go to the right-hand side on Jaime Alguersuari. It's side by side between the two of us, using all the circuit available to us, braking very, very late in towards this corner. And there we go, overtaking Jaime Alguersuari for P15. Might even have a look up the inside of Nico Hulkenberg. Unfortunately, couldn't do that. If we get past Hulkenberg, then it's only my teammate Kamui Kobayashi that's ahead of me. As we've sort of cut... No, I cut the corner. But it's kind of a bit of karma there as I've run it too much on the curb. Lost the back end. And I've dropped all the way down to P19 now as Bruno Senna goes for the overtake. Going to switch back, get this slipstream on the HRT. Driver, don't move in front of me. I'm going to go around the outside in towards turn 1 if I can hold it, which I can. Lovely maneuver around the outside of Bruno Senna. I feel like points here today is going to be very, very difficult. But we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. Oh, overtake on these two drivers. How on earth has that just happened? I literally just held my foot down on the throttle. Hope for the best there. And somehow, that's just worked off. How has that happened then? How on earth has that happened then? Somebody please tell me, because that was absolutely crazy here on F1 2010. It's only the second race of the season, and already we're making some pretty remarkable overtakes. Oh, so much quicker now than Nico Hulkenberg through that section of corners, lifting off the throttle a little bit, but now diving up the inside in towards this right-hander. Oh my god, Hulkenberg really putting some fight in there, trying to hold it around the outside. That was a little bit too aggressive there on the Williams driver, but to be honest, I didn't expect him to put up too much of a fight after he went up the inside of that corner. I thought he was just going to give up that position and allow me to have it, but how wrong was I there with Nico Hulkenberg holding it around the outside and getting the inside line to that corner. Unfortunately, I just squeezed him out a little bit too much, and that was the end of him trying to fight for P16. But up next for me is Jaime Alguersuari in the Toro Rosso. We're so much quicker through that section of corners, even though I can go a little bit quicker through there as well, I feel like. But we're so much quicker than the AI, as I caught up so much to Jaime Alguersuari just through that one section of corners, as that was a little bit of corner cutting through there, although it probably actually lost me a little bit of time. But I'm definitely gaining on these guys and gaining on some other drivers at the moment, as there are drivers coming into the pits right now. So that's going to move me up a few positions. I think either myself or Kamui Kobayashi will be coming into the pits on lap 4, and it is actually myself, so I'm into the pits on this lap. But before then, let's see whether we can get past Jaime Alguersuari or not. So we're going to see what we can do through turn 3, turn 4 and turn 5, because we're actually quite good through this section of corners compared to the AI drivers. So let's just see what I can do through this right hand and just keep my foot all the way down on the throttle pedal. And here we go, maybe having a look up the inside, and we're going to dive late up the inside just like we did on Nico Hulkenberg, but not able to get the job done. Jaime Alguersuari having a better line, a much better drive off that corner, and he holds on to P11 for the time being. But let's see what we can do throughout the rest of this lap. So close to the back of the Toro Rosso drivers. We now go in towards this back straight, and of course into that left-right chicane, that high-speed left-right chicane. What can we do on Jaime Alguersuari through here? Because we don't want to take it too quickly, because if we take it too quickly, we could run into the back of him. We didn't do so. We sort of eased off the throttle and just took it nice and cautiously through there. But we did get the job done on Jaime Alguersuari. Now going to see what we can do on Kamui Kobayashi as Alguersuari comes back at us. Has a little look around the outside through there, but could not get the job done, as I'm still right on the back of Kamui Kobayashi. Going to dive it up the inside of my own teammate through here. He's going to go for the switchback maneuver. It doesn't really matter too much, as I'm coming into the pits anyway on this lap. Now we need to make sure that we get stopped for the line, which it looks like we are going to do so, as I think the actual team took over that. So we're going to brake now, just to make sure that we get stopped for the line, which we do. Okay, this time we got the pit lane right, because we messed up quite a lot last time, if you remember. We messed up loads, and luckily the good thing about getting a good team on this game is that we don't get held up in the pit stops, because I remember that happening quite a lot to me on the first 2 Rags to Riches series. I remember that happening loads, so luckily that doesn't seem to be the case at the moment. And right now, after the first stage of pit stops, it's looking like we are in P19, but there are still drivers doing the opposite strategy to myself, who still needs to come into the pits. Oh, going so much quicker than Massa. Oh my god. Had to back out of that. Otherwise I would have gone straight up the back of Felipe Massa in this race. I'm not going to bother about trying to go for an overtake just yet, but once again, Massa going too slowly for my own liking. Can we do anything up the inside? We're going to try it. Oh my god, squeezed him out. I've squeezed him off the circuit. Go on, Massa. You can have that position back. That was a little bit too aggressive. Go on, Massa. Get that position back. Go on, son. There he goes. Massa back up into P18. I'll admit, very, very aggressive through that corner. Shouldn't have really tried it, and I should have sort of backed out when I realised it wasn't going to happen. But nevertheless, I am going to come out ahead of my teammate of Kamui Kobayashi, who finally comes into the pits there. And I am now in P14 for today's race. Once again, right on the back of Felipe Massa. So let's see what we can do on the Brazilian. Maybe down in towards turn 3. Going to brake later than him. Go for a sort of switchback maneuver and try and go for the overtake through turn 5 if we can do so. Nice and tidy at the moment. Where are we going to go? Massa, what are you going to do? I was just too close to the back of him, unfortunately, that I couldn't keep my foot down on the throttle and go for that overtake just then. But we'll have to wait and see what we can do later on the lap. Right, here we go on Felipe Massa once more. We're coming up to the fast left-right chicane, so let's see what we can do on the Ferrari man. Of course, this is going to be tricky to try and get a good line and not go into the back of him. As you could see there, I was trying to go for a sort of switchback maneuver to make sure that I didn't go into the back of him, but that unfortunately did not happen. Once again, trying that switchback maneuver, but again, just going straight into the back of Felipe Massa, finding it very, very difficult to overtake the Ferrari, trying to have a look around the outside, but now surely I've got the job done. If I can just brake later than him in towards the penultimate corner. There we go, finally, job done, and moving up into P13. Up next is Rubens Barrichello in that Williams. We've got more drivers coming into the pits at the moment, including Lewis Hamilton, who is just ahead of me, unfortunately not coming out ahead of the McLaren driver. But we're going to see what he can do, because he's on cold tyres, so surely we're going to get the better of him in the next couple of corners on this lap. Down towards turn 3, sort of overshooting myself there though, so that wasn't particularly good. But if we can leave a little bit of a gap to Lewis Hamilton, we may be able to have a look through this next corner. But it looks like he's actually done really well compared to other drivers in this race. He was actually really good through that section of corners. Right, Lewis Hamilton being held up now by Rubens Barrichello, but I've messed up there myself, running a bit too quickly into that chicane, trying my best to catch up to Lewis Hamilton, Rubens Barrichello, but sort of, you know, undoing my own work there. But nevertheless, I'm still right on the back of Lewis Hamilton. I may be able to have a look into the next corner, as long as I don't get held up by him too much. Going to have a look up the inside now, like we did on Felipe Massa. Here we go, up the inside of Lewis Hamilton, trying not to lose the back end like we did earlier on in the race through there. And we have managed to get past him now, past the McLaren, up into P8 after Michael Schumacher comes into the pits. What can we do, though, on Rubens Barrichello? He's still yet to come into the pits. I think he's going to be pitting later on in this race. He's going hard, then soft tyres in this race. So hopefully we can get past him in the next couple of laps. Oh, Rubens Barrichello not good through that section of corners. And here we go, having a look up the inside. Oh, no, he moved across us. Damn it, good defending there from Rubens Barrichello, even though it was a bit of a late maneuver that we actually did have contact with the Williams. But good defensive maneuver from Barrichello to move in front of me and stop me from getting through there. But I'm going to see what I can do through the left-right chicane. Of course, we're quicker. We know we're quicker than Rubens Barrichello through there. And I'm just waiting until we can get to a stage where we have clean air going into this chicane, because right now we've not had that, and I'm just going to go round the outside of Rubens Barrichello. Look at that, so easy, making mincemeat of Rubens Barrichello round the outside of that chicane, and we've moved up into P8 now for this Australian Grand Prix. Up next is Jenson Button. I believe there are drivers coming into the pits on this lap as well, the guys who have gone hards then softs, so hopefully that can gain us a few more positions in this race, unless Barrichello was in fact the leader of those guys. Hopefully he wasn't. Hopefully there's drivers in the pits. No, there's not. Unfortunately, there are not drivers in the pits. Button's just gone and set the fastest lap of the race so far, so it feels like at the moment P8 is going to be the best I can do, but we're just going to have to wait and see. Okay, Jenson Button is currently 5 seconds up the road, and I'm not too sure how much we're catching him up per lap, but hopefully it's by about a second, well, more than a second a lap. If it's more than a second a lap, then maybe we'll have a chance to get past him. But tyre wear is starting to show its hand at the moment, so let's just wait and see. I don't think there's going to be any other drivers into the pits on this lap, so I feel like if I want to get any more positions in today's race, I'm going to have to do it out on track, and I'm going to have to set the timing screens alight, just like I have done there, 1:30.4. But let's see how much quicker we are compared to Jenson Button. 3.7 seconds is now the gap. So gained quite a bit in that final sector. So let's wait and see. Okay, we're definitely going to have a chance to overtake Jenson Button in this race. Look how much I've caught up to him in the space of one lap. So there is a big chance that I can move up into P7 for today's race and have another good race just like we had at the Bahrain Grand Prix. Hopefully we can do that. We've got 2 laps left to go, so maybe if we can get past Jenson Button quickly, then we can get past the driver ahead of him as well. But let's just get past Jenson Button first. Let's focus on the McLaren driver before we start to get ahead of ourselves and look at drivers ahead of him. Oh, that was not a good line though from Jenson Button through there. That's going to allow me to pile on the pressure, close up the gap to the McLaren driver. Let's see what we can do in towards maybe the next corner or possibly in towards the fast left-right chicane. We're just going to have to wait and see. But Jenson Button making a few mistakes at the moment. Looks like I'm putting him under a little bit of pressure in today's race. He's going to shoot off so much quicker in a straight line with that McLaren Mercedes. But through this left-right chicane, that is where I've got the upper hand. So let's see what I can do through the left, then possibly round the outside of the right like I did on Rubens Barrichello. Yes, I have. Not just once, but twice in this race. What a maneuver that was, as I've got a Force India now ahead of me. It's Adrian Sittil. How on earth is he running in P6? Let's see if we can get past Adrian Sittil on the final lap of this race. If we can, then that'll be back-to-back 6th positions in today's race after starting down in P18. So once again, coming through the field, showing that we're better in the races than we are in qualifying, better at overtaking. And let's see if we can get past Adrian Sittil. 1 lap left to go. Let's see what we can do. Either it's tyre wear or Adrian Sittil is a better driver than Jenson Button, but I'm just not able to catch him at the moment. I was catching him so much in the previous laps as well as Jenson Button, but right now I'm just not able to catch up to Adrian Sittil. We'll see what we can do through this left-right because we've got actually quite a bit of a gap to him. So it feels like if I do catch up, I can catch up quite a bit and maybe go for the overtake down this next straight. Here we are, picking up the slipstream on Adrian Sittil. The final lap of this Australian Grand Prix. Can we do anything? Going to brake very late into this next corner, trying to do it on the right-hand side, side by side with Adrian Sittil, having to go up the inside into this next corner. Mark Webber wins today's race, but the job done. The job is not done yet for myself at this Australian Grand Prix. I've got Sittil right on my tail. He might have the greater straight line speed, but I don't think that's going to be the case, and it is going to be back-to-back 6th positions in the 2010 season. What a result! What a season this is so far. Very, very happy with that at the moment. Thank you, Jeff the Engineer. 6th position, 8 points once again. And hopefully that is going to help our season, especially in terms of trying to get a drive for a good team next year. Mark Webber is the race winner here today with Sebastian Vettel in 2nd. Fernando Alonso finishes and rounds out the podium in P3. Then it is Liuzzi who finishes in P4. Both Force Indias having a good race here today, so we've got to be aware of that in the Constructors' Championship. Rosberg finishes today's race P5, then I'm in 6th, Adrian Sittil 7th, Jenson Button 8th, with Lewis Hamilton 9th. Not a good day for McLaren, or even the Ferrari of Felipe Massa. Then looking further down the field, where was Sebastian Vettel? I know he finished on the podium, didn't he? But I also beat my teammate of Kamui Kobayashi, so very happy with that. Michael Schumacher all the way down in P18. Not a good day for the Mercedes driver. Right, Drivers' Championship after 2 rounds of this season, and we're now on the same points as Jenson Button, so that is very good indeed. Same points as Jenson Button. We are only 1 point behind Lewis Hamilton, and we are 3 points behind Felipe Massa. So it's very close at the moment between 3rd and all the way down, well, all the way down in towards 9th of Liuzzi. So very, very close amongst us drivers at the moment. But of course, we are trying to aim for the top 2. Big gap at the moment. But if we can get a few race wins or a few podiums later on in the season, then we can certainly challenge with those guys. But that's the case. That's the problem. We need to try and get some race wins, podiums, or better races than P6 at the moment. Otherwise, we are going to be down here in the bottom half of the field, or at least underneath P5, where we need to try and get a top 4 finish for next season. So that is the job that we need to do, and we need to find some better results along the way. Right, Constructors' Championship then, after 2 rounds. Unfortunately, we have been overtaken by the Force India team. They are in P4 at the moment, 19 points on board. We are 3 points behind the Mercedes, also right on our tail, but at the moment it is only myself scoring points. We do need Kamui Kobayashi to try and score some points later on in the season as well. But that is it for the Australian Grand Prix. Let's head back to the menus. Surprisingly, no interviews after today's race. Let's once again have a look at the standings before we end the episode. P6 at the moment, which is a Lotus seat for next season. So a few more points needed to be found over the course of the rest of the season. But there's still a long way left to go. 17 races left in this 2010 season. So hopefully we can do that, and hopefully we can move up in the standings as well. But that is going to do us for today. Up next is, of course, the Malaysian Grand Prix. But if you have enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so for daily Formula 1 content. We've got Rags to Riches free, F1 2017 career mode, and of course a whole load of other content as well. And as always, don't forget to leave a comment down below. What did you guys think about today's race? But I will see you next time at the Malaysian Grand Prix. But until then, it's goodbye from me.